Hello and welcome to this News 9 special ahead of the all-important match between Australia and West Indies. I'm Abhishek Paul and with me is my colleague Atishay Jain. There's a reason we are calling this clash all-important because the semi-final scenario is a bit confusing in the Group 1 where Australia plays West Indies. Obviously, West Indies are out of the semi-final contention. But in the next match, South Africa and England are playing and all three teams can qualify for the semi-finals. We would look at the points table first because it's a tricky scenario in Group 1. Group 2, it's a bit easier. But in Group 1, if you can see the points table, England, they lead the charts with 4 wins in 4 matches, 8 points. They are most likely and most primed to go to the semi-finals. Following them are Australia. 3 wins in 4 matches and they have 6 points. They have a net run rate of 1.031. And following them are South Africa. Again, 3 wins in 4 matches, 6 points, but they are behind in run rate, plus 0.742. Now, Australia face West Indies. West Indies, as we all know, they're out of the semi-final race. But next match is South Africa and England. Atisha, both the matches are so interlinked, right? I mean, anybody can qualify. England, though, they are on 8 points, but still, if today Australia beat West Indies by a massive margin and then South Africa beat England by a massive margin, there might be a possibility where a team which has won its first 4 matches might still go out of the semi-final race. Atishay.
Well, definitely, Abhishek. There are so many permutation and combination going into the final business end of the Super 12s. Even England, who won their 4 matches comprehensively, might end up not making the semi-finals. And even before the Super 12 kick started, we knew that Group 1 is going to be the group of death.
Right.
And now, still, there are 3 teams who are vying for that 2 spots to qualify for the semi-finals from Group 1. Australia can win this game and qualify, and they might even lose this game and still qualify. There's so many permutations and combinations in play at the moment, but it is going to be a rollicking game, one which will provide so much entertainment to fans because 2 power-packed sides in Australia and West Indies lock horns in Abu Dhabi.
Now, let us discuss a bit about the qualification, how they can qualify, right? I mean, obviously, first, there's the match between Australia and West Indies. We are minutes away from the toss of that match. If Australia defeat West Indies, Australia are currently the informed team. They defeated Bangladesh by a massive margin in their last match. If Australia defeat West Indies, they'll reach 8 points and their run rate is also high. So more or less, they would have sealed their semi-final spot. But in the next match, obviously, England and South Africa. South Africa need to win England, need to beat England to have any chance of qualifying for the semi-finals.
And not just they have to beat England, but they have to beat England by a considerable amount of runs or wickets.
Right.
Given that Australia completely thrashed and annihilated Bangladesh in the previous games as they won by 82 over balls remaining and 8 wickets in hand. So that did their net run rate a lot of good. On the other hand, now South Africa need to either match England's or Australia's net run rate or go ahead. For that to happen, the Proteas need to register a very big win in the evening's game. But for now, the road, but you have to talk about Australia who are peaking at just the right time.
And talking about Australia peaking at the right time, last match before facing Bangladesh, Australia's net run rate was negative 0.627, and then the defeat restricted Bangladesh to just 73 and chased down the target in less than 7 overs.
6.2 overs.
Yeah, and now their run rate is plus 1.031. I think we have always seen how Australia have been the underachievers, perennial underachievers in T20 World Cup. Though, the T20 format, they were one of the first countries which imbibed this format. But this time, their pacers, their spinners, Adam Zampa, and their batters, Aaron Finch and David Warner, all of them seem to have peaked at the right time, Atisha.
Well, definitely, and you very rightly mentioned that they are perennial underachievers in T20 World Cup because they have just reached final in one tournament which came in 2010 and they were beaten comprehensively by England in that final. So now that they are peaking in the right time, they would want to make it to the semis and win that elusive T20 international trophy, that World Cup trophy. They have won so many, I think 5 50-over World Cups, so that elusive T20 trophy is still missing from the cabinet.
Just to give an important update to our viewers. Australia, they have won the toss and they have opted to field. Aaron Finch says it looks like a good wicket and won't change throughout the 40 overs. The match is being held in Abu Dhabi. And chasing, well, it's advantage Australia, right?
Well, definitely they'll know for how many runs they have to chase down and what is the best possible scenario for them, and they need to chase down in how many overs.
Right.
And also an important update: Australia is going with the same team which played against Bangladesh, which was expected. Now that they are clicking well as a unit, the batters are complementing their bowlers well, and same can be said for the bowlers as well. But the trump card for them has been Adam Zampa, hasn't been? Abhishek.
Yeah, I mean, the 5-wicket haul. I mean, in T20s, if you take like 4 wickets, 3 wickets, you have a massive impact. But Adam Zampa, 5 for 19, it's the best ever figures by an Australian in a T20 World Cup match. And what a time for Zampa to get it. I mean, his googlies have been like brilliant. I mean, he has been so impactful. He has been crucial in getting those breakthroughs, breaking the partnerships. Obviously, Bangladesh, they were an underconfident side. They had already lost the 4 matches, so I think that played a part in Adam Zampa wreaking havoc. But West Indies, though they are not in great form, I think it will be a tougher business for Australia and Adam Zampa.
Well, definitely, Abhishek, West Indies are going to pose a bigger challenge for Australia, given that this is going to be this is probably going to be the last game for many of their superstars.
Right.
Because Dwayne Bravo, before the game, already announced that he is going to retire from West Indies after this game, after T20 World Cup. And also, Gale is getting no younger, and there are other guys also. So now that the next generation is coming up, this game is going to be very important for West Indies, especially that the defending champions failed so miserably and are nowhere in contention to qualify for the semi-finals now. So now you can expect them to come out and play some guns-blazing innings and also make things difficult for Australia.
But Atisha, I mean, we discussed about one of the key players, which is Adam Zampa, but Australia have other key players too, led by their captain, Aaron Finch. He has been their top scorer this time so far. He has scored over 120 runs. Do you think, I mean, even against Bangladesh also, he did his part. I think he was out in the 40s, but he played a brilliant, I mean, 20 ball 40s, so it was a brilliant knock. But David Warner, he has also showed signs of returning to form. How important is it for that opening pair to strike today? Well, Aaron Finch and David Warner.
Well, it is very crucial for Australia to have their 2 main guys, their openers, David Warner and Aaron Finch, in full form. We saw David Warner score a brisk 50 against Sri Lanka. It looked like he got back into some kind of form, but the problem with David Warner so far in this tournament has been that he has looked patchy every time he has come out to bat. Even during the innings against Sri Lanka, he was handed an early live by Kusal Perera, who dropped a simple catch. So he was given a live, he managed to score a half century, that boosted his confidence, but still we are not seeing that same David Warner of old who used to just come out and take bowlers on and smash them to all corners of the ground. But the case for Aaron Finch is completely different. The Australian skipper has looked in relatively good form, but now going into the business end of the tournament, Australia need their openers to fire on all cylinders.
Australia also have Mitchell Marsh. He is a great hitter of the ball, all-rounder. Glenn Maxwell, obviously, we all know what a great middle-order batter he is. Steve Smith, his form has been not really great. Marcus Stoinis is dependable all-rounder, and Matthew Wade. They bat deep, Atisha. I mean, even if the likes of Australia, if they get West Indies, if they get an early breakthrough, Australia are batting deep.
Well, they definitely bat deep, and it's not just till Matthew Wade that they bat. Even Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc can come and swing their willow around and collect those quick 6, clear the fences very relatively easily. We saw Pat Cummins do that in a couple of matches ago. So again, yeah, they do bat deeply. Like we talked about, they have a very balanced side. Their bowlers complement their batters, and the batters do the same. But now we are entering the business end of the tournament, and we have to see how. Because one thing is for sure with Australia, that they have the mental aptitude to, win in games in this situation, in crunch situation, because they have played knockout games so many times in their history. So they have built like that, and against West Indies, they are definitely going to have a tougher task when compared to their last outing against Bangladesh.
Yeah, I mean, their bowlers also, right? I mean, but they have Josh Hazlewood. We talked about Adam Zampa, but they have Josh Hazlewood, Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins, a power pack pace lineup. Obviously, they are well supported by Marcus Stoinis. Glenn Maxwell, we all know, he's a great spinner of the ball. Generally, he bowls in the power plays too. And Mitchell Marsh, I mean, he has not been used as a bowler so far, but he can also bowl great. So it will be a difficult task for the West Indies batters too. West Indies obviously, like Australia, they also bat deep. They have a guy like Dwayne Bravo. He is coming in at number 9. So you can say you can think about the impact that this West Indies batters they can have.
Well, definitely. West Indies has always had an explosive batting lineup. The likes of Chris Gayle, Evan Lewis, they can just go berserk in the first 6 overs. Then they have the youngsters in Nicholas Pooran and Shimron Hetmeyer, and then their experienced chaps in Kieran Pollard, Andre Russell, Jason Holder and Dwayne Bravo. So again, their batting lineup has always been explosive, but the point is, will they be able to handle Adam Zampa in Abu Dhabi, a track which has offered so much assistance to spinner, and also the boundaries are relatively bigger in Abu Dhabi than compared to Sharjah. Though clearing the fence, it's not going to be easy. And also talking about Windies' batsmen, they have not been in that great run of form of late.
Evan Lewis will be, I think, crucial, because Evan Lewis is their opening batter, and he can hit those big shots. As Atisha rightly mentioned, Abu Dhabi has bigger boundaries than the other two grounds where the World Cup is being played. That's Sharjah and Dubai. But Evan Lewis, his role will be crucial. Obviously, Chris Gayle, you mentioned Chris Gayle has not been doing great, and by all possibilities, this is one of the last major tournaments that Chris Gayle is playing. They are a champion team. They have also Roston Chase. He can spin the ball. He comes in at number 3. He is a not great hitter of the ball, but then
he can anchor West Indies.
Yeah, he can anchor innings. And then Shimron Hetmeyer, we all know he played really well for Delhi Capitals this time. Kieran Pollard, their captain, great all-rounder. You can always depend on him. And Andre Russell. Those two guys, Atisha, Kieran Pollard, Andre Russell, we all know they are not in great touch, but they just need one match to click, right?
Well, definitely. They can just torment any bowling lineup on their given day.
Right.
They both have been short on runs, but they would, especially Kieran Pollard, now that he is the captain of the side, he would like the team to live the tournament on a high, and especially salvage some pride after putting on such a miserable performance right through the tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see how West Indies' explosive batsmen pan against Australia's experienced bowling lineup, and especially against Adam Zampa.
And talking about key players, Dwayne Bravo, it will be an emotional farewell for him. He has been he has provided great service to the West Indies team, and not just West Indies team, right? To cricket in general. His impact in the IPL for CSK is well known, and his impact in provided that great song, Champion, Champion. He's a champion player, Atisha.
He has always been a champion player, and the attitude with which he has approached cricket is what stands out at the most, because it doesn't matter if his team loses or if it wins, he always remains happy and he always motivates his teammates, and that's how he has been right through the tournament, right through his career, beg your pardon. And now that he is going to retire, it's going to be an emotional outing for Dwayne Bravo, but a career which needs to be celebrated both on and off the field.
Right, champion player there, but there's one change in the West Indies lineup. Hayden Walsh Jr., he replaces Ravi Rampal. Hayden Walsh Jr. is a great leg spinner, and he has recently done really well against Australia. They are playing an extra spinner. Do you think that will help them, Atisha, in Abu Dhabi?
Well, definitely. Why not? Because Australian batters have shown reluctance against leg spin. Against Hayden Walsh is a leg spinner. We know Maxwell struggles against leg spin, even though he has a great strike rate. But leg spinners always have that threat against Glenn Maxwell. And then there is Marcus Stoinis in the middle order, Mitchell Marsh, who all have some sort of problems against leg spin. So a very good pick from West Indies, especially because Ravi Rampal, he was not offering that much assistance.
Yeah,
he was not getting
really
too much
making
assistance from the wickets, and he was not making any impact, as you rightly pointed out. So a very well thought change by West Indies.
Before we sign off, Atisha, of course, we'll know the semi-finalist not before midnight, because the next match is also coming up important, South Africa versus England, which starts at 7:30. But now, before the match starts, who are your 2 picks for the semi-final spot from Group 1?
I think Australia are going to win this game.
Okay.
I think by a very small margin, given that West Indies is going to play free cricket like they always play. And I am picking England from the other match to defeat South Africa. So England and Australia go through from Group 1.
Right. So England and Australia says, Atisha, we'll talk more about that later. That's it for now. Do join us for the mid-innings analysis. Thank you and goodbye.